job interview is one of the most anxiety-provoking situations most people can find themselves in, even when they go to plan. But what happens when you have your worst interview ever? Our guests share their worst interviews ever in the hope that you will take something from their mistakes to have a more successful interview outcome. Some of the stories are horrific and some are just downright embarrassing. Let's join our host, Kevin O'Reilly, the interview skills coach with over 25 years experience in the fields of coaching and recruitment. Let's welcome our guests to the show.
Today's guest is proof that you can break through every mental barrier and still have time to jump out of a plane. Jackie Brennan is the belief hacker, a TEDx speaker, former director in high-pressure world of construction and founder of Inner Fluency, where she helps people rewire the subconscious beliefs that are secretly holding them back. Jackie blends neuroscience, psychology, and a no-nonsense sense of humour to help people clear the crap. Oh, that means constantly running autopilot programs. And finally get out of their own way. Whether she's working with leaders, teams, or the inner critic in your head, Jackie's message is clear. You're not broken. You're just running an old code. From burnout to breakthroughs and construction sites to TEDx stages, Jackie's story is packed with moments, hard truths, and more than a few laughs. So everybody, you're going to love this. Jackie, you're very welcome onto the show today.
Thank you, Kevin. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure having you here. Our listeners are going to get so much from you. And if you're watching this as well, you'll get even more. Jackie, where do we find you today?
You'll find me today, actually. I'm in Northumberland. So I am beautiful county in England. I haven't been here for I've actually never been here before. I've driven through it, but never stopped. So that's where you find me today.
Oh, very good. Holiday, Jackie, or just
It's a holiday, but I'm doing a little bit on the side. My partner is working up here at the moment, so I decided to come up and spend some time in this beautiful county.
Lovely. Jackie, but before we get started into our proper interview, tell us a little snippet of your worst interview ever. Now, don't be giving everything away, just a little tiny piece to whet our appetite.
My worst interview ever. I think it was when I was working in construction, and it was probably one of my first going for a promotion. And I was being interviewed by, or well, I should say first, usually in construction when I was working, which is quite some time ago when I first started working in construction, a few years, that I was the only female. And in this role, I was the only female in that position.
Okay, Jackie, don't go any further. I don't want to give everything away now.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Oh, no, that's okay. I don't want to give everything away now. This is a good lead.
Okay. So it was, I was going for a promotion, and there were two, the construction manager and I think it was the operations manager were interviewing. So I was in there with these two guys, started the interview, and halfway through, the construction manager got up and walked out. Didn't say a word, just got up, walked out, didn't come back.
Okay.
And the other guy, the manager and myself sat there and thought, well, okay, what happened there? And we carried on, and at the end, I got up and walked out and thought, well, that's that then. Very strange. Never told me why he walked out. Never heard why. But I can tell you the results of the interview if you want, or do you want to save that for later as well?
Let's save that for the end.
Okay.
Let's save that for the end. Okay. So, Jackie, you said you started in construction, and now you are the belief hacker.
Yes.
How does that happen? How do you start in construction and then go to become the belief hacker?
Oh, yes. So I started actually in the Northern Ireland Water Service way back when it was the Northern Ireland Water Service, way back in the day. And again, I was the first female in there. I love construction. Absolutely love working in construction. So I spent, I don't like to say it, but I'm going to nearly 40 years working in construction. I'm working my way up as you said, I was director of health, safety, quality, environment for a contractor. I've worked on sites and worked in head office. And my last 3 years were out in Canada. I was very fortunate to work out near the Rockies, absolutely beautiful, doing cross-country pipelines. So really heavy duty
Mm-hmm.
industrial style construction. And at the end of the 3 years, my contract came to an, I had a 3 year contract. And at the end of the contract, they said, right, they weren't going to renew it. So I was coming back to the UK. And this was around November time. And I thought, well, I'll give myself, came back to England, haven't lived in my house for 3 years, give myself time off. I'll have Christmas off with the family, and then I'll look for another role come January. Well, January came and went, and I thought, well, who hires in January? So February, I thought, I'll look in February. February came and went.
Mm.
March came and went. The months started to roll on. I finally realized I couldn't go back. I didn't want to go back. And
Mm.
that absolutely baffled me because I loved working in construction. I loved my job. And then I realized I'd absolutely burnt out, completely
Yeah.
burnt out. And that is when I started questioning, well, why had that happened to me? I thought I was a fairly strong, independent person. So what was it? And I knew it wasn't the long hours and the pressure because I'd done that for years and was, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And that started me down the road of research and thinking and delving into things. Well, what is it? And that took me to neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to
Mm-hmm.
hypnosis, to breath work, to all sorts of those sort of holistic different modalities. And that's when I realized and I found out what my beliefs were about myself and what was holding me back and why I couldn't go back. And I thought, well, I don't want other people to spend nearly 40 years, maybe, in that same position. Because yes, I was successful, but knowing what I know now, how would that have changed, or that would have
Mm.
changed the way I approached life?
But hindsight's a great
Oh,
thing,
it's a
though,
great
Jackie.
thing. Yeah. And I
You
always
know,
believe,
looking backwards.
yeah, I always believe that it's the right time, right place, right time.
Yeah. But
So I was ready for it then.
well, imagine exactly, and I was just going to say, imagine if Jackie of today went back to speak to Jackie of the past and said, "Listen, you're going to burn out."
Hmm.
What do you think that Jackie might have said? Like,
Oh,
nah,
nah,
I don't think
I
so.
wouldn't burn out. I'd never do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but you're
that's
right.
what
Right time, right
right
place.
time, right place. And that's what, so that's knowing what I know. I want other people to understand that. And if they're in the right time at the right place, take it on board.
So you've taken a massive learning from this challenge that you've had.
Hmm,
Or you can
definitely.
look at it as you've taken a huge opportunity
Hmm,
and started your own business. And I tend to find this with actually quite a lot of coaches that I meet. If you look at what they coach on, it's usually where they had their own initial
hmm,
problem. And then they done exactly what you do. They
yeah.
delve in how and why. And those are the people you want around you. Those are the coaches that you want around because they understand it at a level, a real deep level, that they can actually start to change themselves and support the change in others.
Yeah.
And I too am an NLP practitioner and I love NLP. It
Hmm,
was one of those it was one of those courses that really set me on a different path.
hmm,
Understanding beliefs and values and systems and modalities and the way we talk, our language that we use, our internal critic. It is absolutely life changing to I'm sure your clients as well as my own clients. But do you ever find that some people fight that, Jackie? They almost
oh,
fight that change. They want to
yeah.
come to you, they pay good hard earned cash to come to you, but then fight the change.
Yeah, because I think some people they might, and this is, I'd say it probably was true of me, that I was nearly scared what was on the other side of
Yeah.
it. I was fearful of it. And with for myself, and it really was when I burnt out, to a certain degree, I believe I lost my identity because my
Mm,
identity had been what I did, my title and that role. And if I didn't have that, who was I?
yeah.
And that was, and I think that also for other people, it's the fear on the other side. Well, who am I becoming then if I this is what I know and it's comfortable where I am,
Mm.
even if it's not really, but it's what I know, and that change might be too far for me, and I don't know what's on the other side of that. So yeah, I get it. I can understand why some people feel like that.
Yeah. Well, Jackie, as you and I both know, on the other side of that challenge is the life that we
Yeah,
deserve.
yeah, it
And
is
sometimes
definitely.
pushing past that is the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah,
But you seen an opportunity.
yeah,
You almost created it slightly by not jumping straight back into work. And then your body and mind decided, do you know what? I think we will. I think we'll have a little rethink about where we're
yeah,
going to go.
yes,
And sometimes that's all it's needed is space,
yeah.
is to not be bombarded.
Mm.
And probably when you look back on it now, as do I, working those 50, 60, 70 hour weeks, and sometimes it's physical work as much as it is mental work. It can be. It's almost like, who was that person that was doing that?
Oh, definitely.
That's
Yeah.
not me.
Now, how did I do that for
Yes,
years?
indeed.
Aye.
Indeed, indeed. I was a retail area manager for nearly 20 years.
Yes,
A retail manager and area manager for nearly 20
yeah,
years. And when I look back on all of that, all of the things that I done, I'm thinking, that was somebody else.
yeah, yeah.
But
And to a degree, it was somebody else.
it
Yeah.
was somebody else. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because it's not this person you see in front of you today.
No.
And did I have to go through all of those the same as you to get to where we are?
Mm,
We did.
no.
Would it have been nice not to? Absolutely. But would we still be the same person we are today? Probably not.
No. No.
But I say, but it's the same, and we are laboring on the point of this, on you moving into this sector, because
Yeah.
you had a challenge and an opportunity. But I want to talk about directly the work that you did before. Okay, so in the
Yeah.
construction industry,
Yeah.
first woman in these particular roles. How how did that feel?
Oh, when I first when I first joined the water service, I had no idea what I was entering. And to be honest, it didn't even faze me because I didn't know I was going to be the first woman they had in there. And
Mm.
to me, I always was fairly independent. I can do anything a man can do. Thank you very much. And so it didn't even enter my head. But I do remember this. So I was a technician when I started in there, and there were five of us, four guys and myself, and we were in a basically it used to be the office used to be a corridor because it had a door at either end that led out,
Mm.
but they changed it into an office. But every morning the boss would come in, open the door, and I was at the very when he opened the door, I was the first desk there. He opened the door and he had his kettle in his hand, and he used to hand it to one of the lads and say, "Fill that for me." So they would go out to the kitchen, fill it with, and bring it back for him. This one morning he came in, he opened the door, he looked around. I was the only person there. The guys weren't there. And he stood with his kettle. And I could see the cogs in his mind going, can I ask her to go fill the kettle? He decided no, he couldn't. So he just closed the door and went off.
I
And
thought equality works in both directions, does it not?
yeah, I thought, well, that nearly says it all. So that, and it still didn't dawn on me really that it was anything different. But as years went on, when I started moving jobs, and I was still the first woman, and then people were coming up to me and said, "Oh yeah, we heard you were coming, first woman we've had here." And I thought, so what? So what? I'm doing the job, but it never stopped me on how I behave, but it was other people's sort of, oh, there's a woman doing it.
And that's it. And I'm going to say something that might sound a little weird, being, because I'm not used to that thought process.
Hmm.
The best person gets the job.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
It doesn't bother me what color you are, what sex you are. The best person gets the job, and it's
Yeah.
the way it should be.
Yes,
But
definitely.
you know yourself, there are lots of individuals that have that bias that
Yeah.
it's blinding almost. to the
It
point where they
is.
look for problems in certain
Yeah.
individuals or in certain religions or in
Yeah.
certain
Yeah, that
color of a person.
confirmation bias, isn't it?
That's
That
it.
this
That's
is
it.
what I think, so I'm looking for where is that showing up? Not the opposite to it, but oh, I've had that conversation with in the construction industry, at a director role, saying, well, there aren't many females in these in the at the board table.
Mm.
And oh well, we've tried. No, we've tried. We've had interviews, but you know, they come for the interview, and then they're not the right person. I thought, and who's interviewing, guys? I mean, who is it that? And it's usually
Three
the
guys.
men. And
Three
I thought,
guys. Yeah.
and I've always this. Yeah, I've my own thought process on what they should be doing instead of what they do at the moment.
Well, that's the way it is, isn't it? And I
Yeah,
know lots of organizations have woken up to this
yeah,
fact where that they have to have some sort of equality on the actual board or
yeah.
on the panel, which is great because it never used to be the case.
No, no,
And especially in construction, which is probably very heavily male dominated.
you dominated. Yeah, yeah.
Even having one or two females on the panel would have been probably alien
Oh,
back then.
it was. In fact, I don't think I've ever had an interview with a female on being
Wow.
interviewed by a female. Never.
So how do you deal with that, Jackie? Now I know you had said, well, whatever, I just get on with
Yeah.
it. But there's going to be people listening to this right now who will have an absolute petrifying fear of rocking up to an interview and being faced with three individuals of the opposite sex
Mm.
just to start. What sort of advice would you give those people?
I My advice to folk is, and I know this is very easy to say, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, is know your own worth. You're
Mm,
there. If you've got to the interview stage, you've already ticked quite a few boxes. They've already seen all your accomplishments, your CV, everything is there. So it's you showing up as you. You're a person. That's it. Try and
mm.
take the gender stuff out of the way. Yes, they'll have their biases, but you can't actually do anything about how their thought process. So to me, it's just be yourself.
So be authentic.
Be authentic, yes. Because there's nothing worse than, and people can tell that, no, that if you're trying to be something you're not, people
Well,
can tell. So just,
what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Jackie? I
um,
know. I think I understand,
yeah.
but I want if you can explain it so that our listeners could get an understanding of what does just believing in yourself look like? What does that look like when you walk into the room?
To me, that looks like you're relaxed. You are comfortable in your own skin. You're you can hold your own. The conversation, when they ask you a question, you know what you've done, you know your abilities, and that you can answer them off the bat. You don't have to think, oh, I wonder what they're going to, or what I think they want me to say. No, just be yourself. Say what you know.
Okay.
And it's that, because if you're trying to be something else, you're already in a position of an inner battle,
Mm.
and your brain is thinking, well, I need to say that, but actually I want to say this. And you come across then as, actually, you don't know what you're saying there. So
You do.
just,
You come across confused,
yeah,
or looking like you don't know what you're talking about,
yeah,
or underprepared. When in
yes,
actual fact
yeah,
you're quite right. It is this competing conversation that's constantly going on. Do they want this or do they want that?
yeah,
If you've done your preparation well in advance, if you have prepared, studied the people who's on the panel, if you have that opportunity, and if you know that there are particular questions that they're going to ask, and there usually are,
yeah,
you can prepare
yeah,
very, very simply. You can prepare for that. And that just removes a lot of that negative feeling that you have.
mm,
And you know yourself, it's a lot of people fear the unknown.
yeah,
So when you start preparing and answering these questions, they don't become the unknown anymore. They just become part of who you are, which is then going to allow you to shine through,
uh,
your
yes,
personality to come through, your
yeah,
attitudes to come through, as opposed to the nervousness.
yeah,
And I tend to find that's what a lot of people end up doing is they don't know how to prepare initially. because they second guess themselves
Yes.
because they don't have feedback, they don't have direction, they don't have any support. But then when they get into the room, they start to second guess themselves again.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes when you're doing that, and what I found, and this has happened to me many years ago in the past, that you're thinking that I wonder what they want. I want to say this. And at some point your brain just goes, oh, I'm leaving the building. And you've got blankness there. And then you really start to panic. And the smallest word is I remember searching for the word the. I couldn't even get that out because I'd panicked that much, didn't know what to say, and I just sat there. A complete mess. So that's another bad interview, worst
Oh
interview.
dear. Well,
But
Jackie, you probably know yourself why that happens.
oh
I mean,
yes,
our fight or flight kicks in,
yeah,
and only the abilities and functions that we need to run
yeah,
away or stay and fight are active. Everything else switches off.
yeah,
And if that means that the brain and the mouth now become two very separate things, that's what happens.
yeah,
And it happens very often, and I see it very often. And
yeah,
it's not that it's sad, it's there's an opportunity missed
yes, yeah,
because they could have rectified this
yeah,
previous to coming into the interviews. What I tend to find, Jackie, is that people come to me after the second or third fail.
right. Oh, not the first then. Oh,
No,
so when it's become a pattern.
become when it
Yeah,
becomes a pattern, and they start to question themselves
mm,
and not the process.
yeah,
Because it's easy to say, oh, well, that was a bad day. Everybody had a bad day. Okay. But then if it happens again and again, it is a pattern, as you quite rightly
yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah. The common denominator is you.
Correct. Correct. And a lot of the times it's something very, very simple.
Mm,
A lot of the times, and I'm sure with your own clients as well, a lot of the times it's something really simple
simple.
that you can't see the wood for the trees.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and if it, I think when it becomes a pattern that goes on, you're starting to build it up to more than it is. You're starting to catastrophize it almost, and it
Yeah.
becomes this huge problem rather than, well, no, let's scale it down a bit.
Yeah. Let's minimize it and take one
Yeah,
step at a time.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think with a lot of my own clients is when we do that, when we scale that down and minimize the effect and remove the catastrophication from it, you can physically see them breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that
Yeah. Relief
right.
almost. Yes.
So there's hope. I can do this. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
But you're right, they build it up too much in their
yeah.
head. And again, it's back to that question I had asked around, what does it feel like? What was it like to be the only woman in this industry as such almost at that level?
Yeah.
It's some people can build that up
Yeah.
to be so much that they don't perform on the day.
Mm,
And what I tend to find is that with the line of work that I am in, that women are usually, and listeners, please, this is just the statistics, this is not my own opinion. Women are usually more prepared than men,
mm,
whether that be for the interview or for the job itself.
mm,
And again, this is not my opinion. This is factual. So in my line of work, when I see a woman coming in, if I'm sitting on a panel, I'm almost feeling like this is the unconscious bias kicking in, but I'm always thinking like this person has potentially prepared very well.
yeah.
But I have to check that sometimes because
Mm,
it's not always the case.
yeah.
And it's not always the case for everybody.
Yeah.
So removing those biases is the point I'm trying to make. And especially in those industries that are very male dominated.
Mm,
So if you were to give a piece of advice to women trying to get into that construction industry, because Jackie, actually you're the second or third woman I've spoke to who's in the construction
oh,
industry,
right.
which is great.
Mm.
But what piece of advice would you give them?
For what? For
For
interviews, not just
for
coming in, or
just deciding to take this line of work?
I mean, I love the construction industry. I still love the construction industry. I think it could do a lot better for women coming in. The but I do think for anybody, and especially when there's so much choice when you go into the construction industry as what you could do. There are so many opportunities for advancement, for promotion, for getting that real job satisfaction. Because for me, especially, there was nothing better than seeing a project completed, seeing the end result, and it's something tangible there. Um, but I I I do believe the industry is changing. It is getting better, but I do think you still have to be prepared for it can be tough at times. And it's not to go in with rose-tinted glasses on thinking, everything's going to be wonderful. It may well be, but there's still a bit of a culture there that we still need to be doing more about. But the fact that more women are entering the industry is making it easier, is more
Mhm.
acceptable. And especially when I worked in Canada, the in England on site, you would rarely see females out doing the sort of what they'd call the laboring, the physical jobs, whether
Mm.
that's digging, doing the welding, being a digger driver. In Canada, no problem, totally acceptable. And I thought it was wonderful. That just different perception over there of it. And over here in England, I now see more females even in doing those roles, which is great.
Well, it is good to hear. It
So,
is. I
I
have a
mean,
daughter,
yeah.
and she is wanting to be an engineer,
Right.
which I absolutely love because she is very good at coming up with creative ideas and then
Mhm.
building those creative ideas. And it's great that she's going into a line of work that is potentially male dominated because I know that she can hold her own. She has three brothers, you see, so
Yeah,
she's absolutely able to hold her own.
yeah. And that in itself is a great bonus. It
Mm,
really is. No, and that's where I come back to knowing your self-worth.
yeah,
It doesn't matter male or female. This is who I am. This is what I can do. I know my value and holding
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And sometimes what I tend to find is that people will go in not knowing who they really are.
Mm,
And you can pick it, and I'm sure you can as well. We can pick this up very, very quickly when they can't make decisions because they don't have the right program running, to use
yeah,
your terminology. They don't have that right program running because they are still in conflict with themselves.
yeah. And
Who am I?
that was me, Kevin. That was
Yeah.
me for all
Yeah.
those years. That is exactly what I was doing.
Wow.
Now looking at it, I thought, God, Jackie, really? But yes. And the thing is, I knew I was doing it. I didn't know how to stop it.
Ah, okay.
And
But you do
that's what
now,
I
Jackie.
figured that I do now. That's what I figured out.
And that's what you help other people do as well.
That's
You help
right. Yeah,
them become more
exactly.
aware, to realize,
Yeah.
and then to change.
Yeah.
Wow. And that must be really rewarding and fulfilling.
It's if and I've always said if I only help one person, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's I'd love to help hundreds, thousands, but if it only came down, I only help one, my job's done. Tick, thank you. If I've helped one person, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I think what you do, Jackie, you're helping a lot of people, not just one. I would say every client that you have that come to you will leave differently than they came
Mm.
and with a better understanding of themselves and options that they didn't realize they were there.
That that's a good one. It is. It's that choice. Choice is that
Hmm.
we always have choice. So, and you make the best choices, it'll be with the information you have. So the more information you have, and especially about yourself, how your mind works, things like that, you have more choice.
Yeah.
Opens things up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that. You can almost see that aha moment when people
Mm.
realize that it's yes, they can, they have
Yeah,
choice. There isn't that can't anymore.
yeah,
It's when or yet or a possibility of a potential.
yeah,
The opportunities just open up to everybody.
yeah.
Jackie, we're gonna change a little bit of pace Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this is the part of the show for anybody that is listening in or watching in, that we ask the guest a series of quickfire questions where they have to answer yes, no, or pass. No context allowed to be given, just a very simple yes, no, or pass. And then we will have a discussion maybe after it. And the reason that I ask these questions, because I am asked these questions myself personally at least once a week by clients. These are the most common questions asked to me by clients. And it's always good to gauge from somebody else what their thoughts are. So,
Okay.
Jackie, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Is it acceptable to wear pajama bottoms to a Zoom interview?
If you want. Oh, yes.
Is it okay to bribe the interviewers?
No.
Is it wise to ask the interviewer for a selfie at the end?
No.
Should a candidate smile during the interview?
Yes.
Should you answer the first question with a dramatic pause for effect?
Yes.
Should women wear high heels to an interview?
Yes.
Is it acceptable to ask the interviewer how much they make?
No.
Should you high five the interviewer at the end?
No.
Should a candidate swear during the interview?
No.
Is it acceptable to bring your mum to the interview for moral support?
No.
And that's the last of it, Jackie. For those who are listening and watching, for those that are watching especially, you may have noticed Jackie grimace a little at a question that I asked. It was almost to the point of a scowl,
Yeah.
and it was a question around should women wear high heels to an
Yeah.
interview?
Oh.
Jackie, what was the scowl for?
Oh, please. Oh, I'm nearly thinking, really? I'm a great believer. Yes, and I think I said this, and it's that perception. I know this. We are judged on appearance, whether we like it or not. It's a human trait. We are.
Hmm.
However, I believe people should wear what they want. But if you're going for an interview and it's a professional setting, basically judge what it is you're going. However, if you're comfortable and you always wear high heels, wear high heels.
Hmm.
Unless you're going for, well, no, even if you're going for a laborer's job, because you're not turning up in your PPE and your flipping work boots. To me, wear what you want. If you wear high heels and are comfortable and you can be confident wearing them. I mean, if you're not somebody who wears high heels, you put them on for the interview and you're walking in and you can't even walk in them, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm a great believer, wear what you want and wear what you feel comfortable in. And in this day and age, it shouldn't even be in the mix. My
Unfortunately,
opinion.
Jackie, it is a question I'm asked at least once a week.
Really?
Yeah,
By by who? By women asking it, or
by women. By women.
should I wear high heels? God, now see that
Yeah.
that says that to me is either from their experience previously that have people frowned on it, or oh, that's I find that very sad that women have to ask that.
It is. Now, not every woman asks that, but
No,
there
no, but
are,
yeah. Oh,
and like you'd said, there's almost that past behavior representing a future thought
yeah,
and behavior. And even in some industries, that unconscious bias will
yeah.
kick in.
Oh, yeah.
And there's almost an expectation of a certain dress code
Oh, yeah.
without there being an official dress code.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, no. Been there, done that. Yeah, seen that. Yes.
And that's pretty much how I answer that question because, like yourself, I can't see why this would be an important factor.
Mhm.
However, and I know this, it is in certain industries and at certain levels.
Mhm.
It's almost like you have to play the game here,
Yeah.
whether you like it
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah. Indeed,
It's
sad but
unfortunate, isn't
true
it?
times. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Now, men have similar biases as well with regards to unofficial uniforms.
Mm.
Do they wear a suit or do they not?
Mm.
Do they wear a tie or do they not?
Yeah.
In certain industries, it's expected that you must wear a suit and a tie.
Mm.
In other industries, it's expected that you're not supposed to wear a tie. And if you wore a tie, you stood out for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I'll tell you, when I was working my way up in the corporate world, I was told by a coach that if I wanted to be a director, I would have to dress and be like those other directors. Now, those other directors were all men of a certain age in suits and ties. And I thought, well, I'm never going to be that.
Yeah.
And I can be and I didn't even want to be a female version of it. I thought, well, no, no. Why? But I knew where she was coming from because that is what they all looked like. And if you, again, confirmation bias, if you weren't in looking like that, then, well, no, you're not for us.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
oh,
unfortunate, isn't it?
yeah. Oh, very, very.
Listen, that still goes on
Oh,
today, Jackie,
mm, sad,
whether
very,
we like to admit it or not.
yeah. Oh, no, and I'd say a lot of companies wouldn't. Just wouldn't, it's not going to be admitted, but it's there. It's there.
And that's the problem. It's
Mm,
the proving
yeah,
is always the challenge in these. Because if it's not said out loud or written down on the page, how can you prove otherwise?
yeah,
You just can't.
yeah.
And that's why the diversity on the panel, I believe, is so important.
It is, because yeah, it gives that different everybody's input, different points of view.
Yeah.
Uh, and if you're marking it equally, let's say, no, for whatever way you're judging things, that when you put them all together, it should balance it out. You would like to think.
Well, absolutely, you'd like to think.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Jackie, thank you very much for answering those questions. I know that that is never a comfortable round of questions for anybody,
mhm,
especially when there's no context. They can't
yeah,
add a little bit of their own nuance to it. And it's just a very simple but awkward yes, no, or pass.
yeah,
So thank you
yeah,
very much for doing that and having the conversations around it. But Jackie, let's talk about what we discussed at the very beginning about your worst interview ever. Take us through
yeah.
that process again. Where were you? What were you planning for? And then what happened?
I was applying, so I'd moved from Northern Ireland to England, and I'd got a job as an inspector with well, they were the client. They were laying cables. The contractor was laying cables for fiber optics, and I was working for the client. So an inspector going out to check the contractor's works, the street works basically, and making sure everything was done safely and on time, all the rest of it. And the supervisor's position came up. So I joined the company, only female as in the inspector role, and there was about 4 or 5 guys there who had been there when I joined. They'd be all been there for a year, 2 years, whatever. Went for the supervisor's role, went in, say had the two managers there, and the one that got up and walked out, and I thought, well, that's it. Obviously, just scored me off, write me off, not happening. So it was quite a surprise later on when I actually got the job of supervisor ahead of the guys that had been there for years. And he never did say why he walked out. Never told me why. I have no
Oh,
idea. But I
oh,
got the job, which was excellent. And from that, and to be honest, that step up to the supervisor sort of bolstered my confidence more in, oh, right, because and I think that and this is my opinion, I think as females, we go down the list of things that you need. If you're applying for this job, here's what we're expecting. And as females, we go, yes, 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 yes. Oh, I don't have that, so I'm not applying. Whereas guys, I think, tend to go, yes, 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 yes. No, what the hell? I'm going. I'm still going
well,
for it.
Jackie, if you want, I can give you statistics on that
Oh, right.
because that is an actual fact.
Right.
Women usually need 100% of the
Yeah.
criteria
Yeah.
before they even apply,
Yeah.
whereas men only need 50% before they'll apply.
That much? That
It's an ego. There's an ego.
oh yeah. But I wouldn't have expected to be
Hmm.
50%. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So I am always encouraging for females to apply for the job, even if they don't have one or two of the
Yes.
essential criteria. But
Yes.
but they what I always get back is, but it's essential, Kevin. That's what they want. I says, no, that's what they would love to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you know yourself, Jackie, when you look at some job descriptions, they're actually looking for 3 people in one. So there's no way that everybody, there's just no way that one person can have everything they're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to adapt, if they're willing to add and do 3 people's work for the one salary, then they're more than likely will take them on.
Yeah.
But I see so many fantastically experienced, knowledgeable, wise women who will not go for that because they have to be 100%. And the way I always try and explain it to them is that if you're going for a role, as in up the way, there's no way you should have 100% of what they're looking for because you're not doing that role.
Yeah.
So how do you expect to have 100% of that? But even there's a lot of responsibility that should be placed on the job description writers.
Yes.
A huge amount of responsibility.
Yeah.
Because they're
But
turning away good people.
indeed. And I am living proof for any of your listeners there who, females especially, who think, oh, I haven't got all that, I'm not going to apply. That's where I started. Oh, I can't do that. I haven't got this, that, or the other. When I got that supervisor's role, I thought, oh, right. So then about a year later, the construction manager's role came up. And I thought, in fact, actually, I hardly thought at all. I thought, right, I'm going for that now. I got that as well. And that has been my sort of thought, well, no, okay, I don't have everything, but I do have the attitude. I know where I am. I can gain skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided, well, what's the worst that can happen? You don't get it. So what?
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll learn something on the way
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So you learn what you have, what you need, and then next time it comes up, you can apply.
Indeed. Indeed.
But
So
I
go
think
for
so
it.
many people are afraid of doing that because of that fear of rejection, the
Mm.
fear of negativity. That make me look bad in front of other people if I go in and I can't say all these things because I don't have all of these things. But again, like you'd said about attitude, if more companies hired for attitude,
Yes.
skills can be learned.
Yes.
That's what a skill is. It is a learned behavior.
Yeah. There's
Hired for attitude.
good. Yeah, because you can changing somebody's attitude's a bit harder than getting them to change a skill set. I mean,
Absolutely.
learn the skills, as you say, but to me, attitude is everything. I'd much rather have someone, and I've had this experience with people when I was when I was head of health, safety, quality, and environment, there was people that came into my team were people who wanted to do that role, and especially the health and safety side of it. So even admins, the girls that come in to do admin wanted to be in the health and safety world.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came in as an admin person. We trained them up, became a health and safety advisor, and they went on with their career. And it was those people that came in with the attitude, that's what I want to do. I want to be in this, not necessarily just, oh, I'm doing admin here. I just want to do admin. Doesn't matter where the admin role is, and that's fair enough. But for my team, I look for people who wanted to be in that environment and do that work because they would then progress through and I could help them on their journey.
Well, I need more people like you in business, Jackie.
It's the only way. It really is. As you say, they're missing out so much missed
Well,
opportunities.
I know. I think I know the answer to this question before I ask it. But what piece of advice would you give those females who think, "Oh, I don't have all of the essential criteria. I won't go for this." What would you tell them, Jackie?
Go for it, girl. Just put your application in. Go for it. Go in with that attitude that I want to do this. I know I can do it. I might not have all the be the perfect candidate that you think you're looking for, but if you have the right attitude and it's something you want to do, to me that will come over in an interview. And attitude is everything. So just go for it. Go for it.
Love it,
If
Jackie.
nothing else, it's
Absolutely love it.
a lesson learned. You'll take something from it.
That's very true, isn't it? Jackie, today has been fantastic. I have learned a lot. So thank you very much. I have learned a lot today. And I know our listeners and the people watching online will have also taken a lot away from your experiences. Now, I'm going to try and summarize this really difficultly because there is so much we have talked about today. But there are two things I want to really bring to the forefront that you had said that I believe are really important, especially in an interview, in the interview world, but not just the interview world. I think in life in general. You talked about being authentically you, being you, warts and all, but the best version of you as you go into that interview room, prepared, confident, a little bit of belief in themselves, or a lot of belief in themselves. A lot of people don't do. And then that reflects right onto the second point that we've just talked about, the attitude. I think those two, that's being authentic and the attitude and having the right attitude, it wouldn't matter if you only manage 50, 60% of the criteria. Going in with those two things, being you, and having the attitude of, yeah, I can and I will be able to learn and I know I can do a good job. That's huge. That's absolutely huge for any candidate. It's a great takeaway actually for this show. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much for that. Jackie, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Oh, go over to LinkedIn. You'll find me on LinkedIn, Jackie-Brennan on LinkedIn.
So Jackie-Brennan, the belief hacker.
Yes, I will change that profile to say that, so you know it's me.
It's a really catchy title. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Jackie, thank you very much for coming on today.
My pleasure, Kevin, and thank you for inviting me. It's been a joy. A joy.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, folks, that's the end of today's show. If you want to tune back in again for our next episode, where we will take another little peek behind the curtain of the interview world. But until then, remember that on the other side of a successful interview is the life you all deserve.
For more details about our guest, or if you would like to be a guest, go to www.interviewskillscoach.co.uk/my-worst-interview-ever, or find us on Facebook or LinkedIn. And remember, on the other side of a successful interview is the life you deserve.